Hello Creative, welcome to another tutorial with the Magic Maker and myself. In today's video, we are going to be looking at a feature in Photoshop that is downgraded or downsized and can step up your design to the next level or can give you better designs or help you make better designs. So look at the preview I'm showing you on your screen. What you have right here is made with just blending options alone. So in our previous video, we've talked about Adobe color palette and all of that. So we'll see how we can infuse that into this design so that we don't just talk the talk, but we walk the walk. So let's make magic. Alright, so in this video, let's get it started. I'm going to create a new artboard, okay? So I'm going to make it 2000 by 2000. I know 2000 by 2000 is actually very large. It didn't occur to me until a while ago that it's larger than HD because HD is 1920 by 1080p. So this is actually very, very big. So I'm just going to name this blending options. Okay. Then let me use this. Height 2000. Width 2000. What's up? 2, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 2000. Artboard, check it on. I'm doing the design for web, so I'm just going to use the resolution 300. Alright. So, transparent now. I want it to be white. Okay. So the first thing I want us to do is to go to Adobe Color to pick a color palette that we are going to use. So Adobe Color. I'm just going to go to the Explore. Let me just use something that is used already, okay? So let's come to this section. How about we use this? Let's use anyone, or should we just dance around a little bit? Okay, I'll use this. So you can see that we have the color codes there for us already. And what we can do is we can download it as JPEG, then sample it in Photoshop. So I'm just going to download it as JPEG. Now we have it there. Drag it into Photoshop. Now, because I am using an artboard, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to click on the plus icon with the artboard option. So I'm just going to come here, artboard tools, and click there. So this is where I'm going to be making my design. Space, if I hold the space key, I can just move my canvas around. Ctrl minus to zoom out. So we want to do a design on, let's say, thank God it's Friday. So I'm just going to do TGIF, finish. So press T to activate your text tool, okay? I'm just going to create a text box by clicking and dragging. Once I'm done, I let go and I do TGIF. I know that color sucks and we're going to fix that. So I'm just going to go to the size here, properties, and I'm just going to scale that up. That color is not nice, fine. Let's click on color. Let's use the red, okay? And should we make the TGIF like this or the other way? The other way. I think the other way will be better. But let's say Ctrl-C. Click on it, reduce it that way. Ctrl-Enter. V, Alt, click and drag. C again, increase it. So I'm just going to delete the space that were there before. Delete. Then I'm just going to reduce this so it fits. Ctrl-Enter, V. I'm going to turn the vertical on off. You know, what I just did here, that I was pressing T, Enter, G, Enter, I, Enter, F. That was all wrong. What I could have just done is use the text tool, click on the vertical type tool, and I can just do, let me increase it. I can just do TGIF instead of having to do T, Enter, I, Enter. So you can see that depending on your knowledge of the particular software that you're using, it is going to determine your level of productivity and how fast you can do one artwork or a design from the other. All right. Ctrl-Enter, I'm going to turn that off as well. I'm going to turn the initial one off, V. Okay, so Ctrl-T, I'm just going to scale it, TGIF. One of the reasons I love the artboard feature is because of I can centralize. I can also align it horizontally, vertically, depending on what actually suits me. Now that this is done, we're going to be playing with all of the blending options that we have, and I'm going to be coming to the F of X, which is for effects. You can see it's blending options. So if you click on blending options, it's going to pop up the overall boss, which is the blending option in itself. I can use my answer to move this here. So one of the things you first want to turn off is Bevel and Emboss. You can see what we have in there already. Let me zoom in. So you can see that this is just the effect of Bevel and Emboss alone. So if you reduce the opacity, you see the effect. Fill opacity, this is for the color in itself. So this is actually an effect as well. Blend in, you can play with all of this feature that you have here, and I'm not going to be using blend if gray. That is what I'll be using when you're doing things relating to displacement map or rebranding, taking a design online and trying to make it your own by owning the design, then using Alien Brush and clone stamp tool and all of those tools that are related to make it your own. So you just erase all of the previous designs that are on it and just make it yours. And it is also another way of creating mockups, which I believe before you watch this video, that video would have been uploaded, so go check it out. Now I'm going to click on contour. So you have to pay attention to be able to see the difference. I actually prefer this one. I don't know if it has a name, but this one that is looking like a valley, that's the one I use the most. Okay, so you just have to pay attention to notice the difference. If you don't pay attention, you are not going to see the difference. So I'm just going to use the one that I'm very comfortable with. Anti-lattice, sometimes I barely see the feature of this anti-alias, or what's the name? Okay, I see it now that I'm zoomed in. If you look at this section, you will notice the difference. Anti-lattice off, anti-lattice on, anti-lattice off, anti-alias. I get anti-lattice or anti-lati in Yoruba called anti-lattice. Alright, so GIF, that is just for the first step. We go back in, any options. I'm just going to click on stroke. Let's see what we can do with stroke. But before that, let's do drop shadow. Okay, so drop shadow, you have to activate it to be able to move it around. So this is just the effect of drop shadow alone. Alright, so drop shadow is one of the things that is going to help your design look real, like light is added on it. So depending on the angle of the shadow, look at the angle now, it is going to make it feel like the light is actually coming from that angle. That's from what the goes is. If you're having your quadrants like this, and this is your this is your second quadrant. So in your second quadrant, you're having about, this will be 90 plus 45, and that should be 135, if that is correct. So coming at an angle of 125 degrees, and if you're looking at your clock, that should be 12. If this is 12 o'clock, this should be 1. Is this 1? This should be 11, 12, 1. So coming around your 2 o'clock and your 3 o'clock. So that is for this. So you can move it around and sort of make it seem like you're faking a light effect. Another way you can also understand drop shadow is by paying attention to the casting of shadows where you have lights shining on it, okay? But we're going to undo that in another tutorial. Now, drop shadow, you could work on the thickness or the opacity rather. And depending on what you have on the background, you could also use blending options. And we're going to just play around all of these things subtly. So, manually adjusting the distance, the spread, the size. You can see this now. So I really like this. I don't want a sharp one. Yeah, I like that. A little bit. Yeah. Okay. If you want to add noise, so you see that depending on what is happening, you can actually have different effects, different variations of the same thing. I'm going to use, I just want to do something weird, alright, and I also want to add a background color. Instead of using a background color, why don't you just use a background image? Okay, I downloaded some images from Pexels and Unsplash, and let's use this, okay? But will it not mess up the idea of us using different color palettes? Okay, so enter. I'm going to move it down. Alright, so reduce the opacity very much. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I want us to check the effect of the blending mode option, if it actually works, okay? So you can see the way it is reacting with what you have in the background. So what I'm just doing is I'm just pressing the down key to shuffle between them. Okay, so this will give you an idea of how effective or the efficacy of the blending modes or the blend mode. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel and I'm going to turn it off, turn off that layer. So now for my background, I'm going to add a solid color and I'm going to sample one of the colors I have here. Okay, this is like nighttime. It looks bloody, but at the same time it looks good in a way, even though it looks bloody. I think I'm going for that. Let me see if there's anything I can do to the text. You know, what we're doing here is we're discovering stuff, okay? All right. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? We could do some splatter effect. Let me use a splatter brush. Right click. Okay, let me create a new layer on top of the color. So I could, let me sample this particular color. Come back here, B for brush, and let me paint. So you can see what we're doing now from a splatter brush, okay? This is just a sort of like a splatter brush. So this is for the background. Then you could do a lot of things. You could even walk around the blend modes to give you, I like this black ink stuff. I know that what we're trying to do here is not necessarily to create a very beautiful design, but we just want to use this to actually understand how blend modes and blending options really work. So that is for this. Okay, you can reduce the opacity if you want. Let me just reduce it a bit. Let me make it 100. Let's play with all of the blending options that we have here. Go down, go down, go down. You know? So Nifem, I'm going to ask you, which one of them do you like? Let me know the one you like. Do you want to go back? You like the black one? Alright, so my sound man says he preferred to. Actually, Nifem is the one that is helping me with everything. Handling 2 cameras, you can't see him, but you see his picture on one of my thumbnail design for, what's the name of the video again? The last video I just uploaded. Designing a YouTube thumbnail, you can see his picture there. So he's going to help me handle the Sony Alpha A7 III and the Canon M50. He's also the sound man, and it's just 15. Are you 15? It's 15. Awesome, right? Okay. I believe this is enough. V. Then one of the things I also want to do is let us go back to the blending options. Blending options. Okay. So let's see outer glow. Definitely, any color we're using is going to be from this color palette that we chose. Okay. We chose. So let me use that yellow. Let's see. Opacity. Noise. No, I don't want any noise. If I make it normal, spread. Okay. You can see the spread. Screen. It was at screen before. Size. So this is for the glow. You can see. And we can still move the drop shadow if we want. If you feel like you could still move it. Okay, so this red and yellow is reminding me sort of like Superman kind of thing. Even though we know this is not a design befitting of Superman. Okay, so then this is good. This is okay. Let's go back to the outer glow. Let's play around with it. Let's play around with the blending options. Okay, this is sort of okay. This is looking like bacterial kind of design, like Ben 10. Yeah, that's what it's reminding me of, Ben 10. Can you imagine? I actually love cartoons anyway. I like this. It's looking like algae related stuff. So I'll go for the one that reminds me of Ben 10. Okay, yeah, it is. So let's work on the opacity. Okay. Pattern overlay. Cool, right? You can reduce the opacity if you want, and you can pick any other patterns that you want. You could import patterns that you have to go and download that online. But let's just work with what we have already. Okay. Let's see. You could also work on the scale. Just depends on what you really want to do, you know. Okay. You could, if you increase the opacity, see what we're having. So there are a lot of things you could just do with blend modes alone. You could work on the scale. So look at the scale now. You can see the effect. So you could use this for like time lapse to tell stories. If you want to just like look at it, it's looking like forest. You know, if you say a tree does not make a forest, then you can now just go back and be like, then as time goes on, it begins to grow and it begins to get multiple until it fills the whole planet and it's so tiny. So now, blend modes dissolve like that. You could play around, and I'm going to increase the scale. So let's just go to normal. Alright, so I'm just going to turn off the pattern. I don't really like what I'm seeing. I'm going to go back to the solid color that we were using. Okay, then you have the gradient overlay. Blend mode as well. Could go around, you know, gradient overlay, gradients. So I'm just checking the various blend modes that I have here. I think I like the first one. So like, yeah, this. Let's see. So remember, any color we're using has to be from our color palette. Let's just see. So this is just supposed to not be the best design in the world, because it's not, but give us an idea of how these things really work, okay? So you can see the difference, just like that. You can see the difference, TGIF. Then you can also work on the angles, okay? So if we're following the angle at which the drop shadow is in, we can work like this. Okay, that is fair enough. Detail, I'm not seeing what detail is doing. You can reverse it if you want. Reversing it that way, casting the shadow that way. Okay, I think I prefer it the other way down. So the scale, alright. Color overlay is another thing, but for color overlay, let's see. So now we just change the color. That's just what color overlay is. Then you can work on the blend modes, you know. I don't know, for some reasons I just still like the red. If we go back to normal, I like the red overlay. Satin is like a stroke. Sometimes that's how it behaves like a stroke sometimes. But you can see what we're having here. Could work on the angle, distance. Okay. I like this. Nifem, do you like that? You don't? Okay, I'm gonna stand it up because you don't like it. Let's stick with the simple color, right? Inner. I'm gonna leave it. I don't care what you think. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Inner shadow, you know. You could just play with all of these things to give you what you want. I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm not necessarily doing, remember, something like the best of the best. We just want to get a proper understanding of what this thing really is, you know. So inner shadow. After inner shadow, we have a stroke. Then for the stroke, you can make it outside or inside or center if you want. So I'm just going to make it inside, opacity, size, okay. Alright, we could do this. We could do this. We could do this. Let's do this. Alright, so let's see if changing the color will give us something dope. Something good. Nah, I think we'll just stick with white. Texture. Interesting. I'm going to leave it like that. Pattern overlay. Nah, stay away. Pattern overlay should just stay away. Okay? So this is what we have from just blending options alone. Is this not amazing? Like from just your effect alone. Or let's just make it feel like, okay, we've turned on everything. I'm just going to reduce the opacity to 0, and it's like it's not there. So this is it, you know, chilling with the magic maker, and we're just exploring Photoshop. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and share. Don't also forget the channel of our sponsor, AL Online, and don't forget the handles on your screen. Just follow every single one of them, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Don't cut yet. Alright. What else? Is there anything we can do to make this better? I feel this is good, so I'm just going to export it as a JPG file. Export, quick export as PNG. Now I have to look for where I keep all of these shoots. Desktop, do not delete. So Ctrl Shift N. Shift MNO, Shift O. Blending options, enter. Ctrl Shift N, materials, Ctrl back, Shift N, enter. So I'm going to call this blending. Enter, and let's go check out what we just saved. Recent. Okay, it's not even here in recent. Desktop. This PC, let's see. How do you access that recent something? Quick access. Okay, palette, right click. Open file location. So, Shift O, enter. And this is what we're able to do. So I hope you've been able to learn how to use blending options in this video, and hit the like button, subscribe, share, recommend my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.